Disruptive leadership. Table of content. The leader, the future demands. Chapter 1. Rethinking leadership for a disruptive era. Chapter 2. The psychology of disruption. Chapter 3. Building a vision that inspires action. Chapter 4. Designing disruptive strategies. Chapter 5. Building high-performance, agile teams. Chapter 6. Creating a culture of experimentation and learning. Chapter 7. Decision-making in high-uncertainty environments. Chapter 8. Communicating in times of disruption. Chapter 9. Resilience and energy management for leaders. Chapter 10. Leveraging technology for disruptive advantage. Chapter 11. Leading through crisis and chaos. Chapter 12. Building high-trust cultures in disruptive times. Chapter 13. Driving innovation without chaos. Chapter 14. Scaling disruption across the organization. Chapter 15. Developing the next generation of disruptive leaders. Chapter 16. Measuring the impact of disruption. Chapter 17. Overcoming organizational immune systems. Chapter 18. Building resilience in a disruptive world. Chapter 19. Embedding a culture of continuous disruption. Chapter 20. Your disruptive leadership legacy. The leader, the future demands. The room was quiet, except for the hum of a dozen laptops and the sound of your own heartbeat. You've just been told the rules have changed. A new competitor has come out of nowhere, rewriting your industry's playbook. Your customers are flocking to them. Your board is anxious. Your team is looking at you for answers. What do you do? In that moment, you have two choices. You can defend the past, protecting what you've already built, doubling down on what once worked. Or you can disrupt the present, risking your comfort, your reputation, maybe even your job, to create a new future. This is the essence of disruptive leadership. Disruptive leaders don't just adapt to change, they drive it. They don't wait for permission to reinvent the rules, they rewrite them. They have the courage to dismantle what's no longer working, even if they built it themselves. But make no mistake, this is not reckless leadership. True disruption requires discipline, vision, and a willingness to take others on the journey with you. It is about building organizations that are not only capable of surviving change, but thriving because of it. The world needs more of these leaders. Because disruption is no longer an exception, it is the new normal. This book is your playbook for becoming one. In the pages ahead, you'll learn how to recognize the moments when disruption is not just necessary, but urgent. Build coalitions, systems, and cultures that support transformation. Balance bold innovation with operational stability. Inspire your people to embrace, not fear, the future. Leave behind a legacy of continuous reinvention. You will meet leaders who disrupted their industries, their teams, and even themselves. You'll explore frameworks, exercises, and case studies that will help you create change without chaos. And you'll be challenged to question your assumptions, to reimagine your leadership style, and to act before disruption acts on you. The future is coming, faster than you think. This is your invitation to lead it. Chapter 1. Rethinking Leadership for a Disruptive Era. Introduction. The old playbook is dead. Leadership as we knew it was built for an era of relative stability, linear growth, predictable markets, and incremental change. That world no longer exists. We now operate in a landscape defined by exponential technologies, volatile markets, geopolitical uncertainty, and generational workforce shifts. Disruptive leaders are not just managers of change, they are creators of change. This chapter introduces the core idea of disruptive leadership, the practice of intentionally challenging norms, fostering innovation, and creating conditions where teams thrive amid uncertainty. Section 1. What is disruptive leadership? Key definition. Disruptive leadership is the ability to challenge the status quo, identify hidden opportunities, and mobilize people and resources toward transformational change, often before the rest of the market even recognizes the need for it. Traditional leadership focuses on efficiency, hierarchy, and risk mitigation. Disruptive leadership focuses on speed, adaptability, and experimentation. Core traits of disruptive leaders. Visionary thinking, seeing patterns where others see noise. Bias for action, preferring rapid iteration over long deliberation. Radical empathy, understanding the needs of both customers and teams deeply. Calculated risk-taking, embracing uncertainty as a growth lever. Continuous learning, treating every outcome as data, not failure. Section 2, Case Study 1, Netflix versus Blockbuster. In 2000, Netflix offered to sell itself to Blockbuster for $50 million. Blockbuster's executives laughed them out of the room. Within a decade, Netflix had revolutionized entertainment, and Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy. Leadership lessons. Disruptive leaders anticipate change instead of defending legacy models. Small, iterative experiments. Netflix's early DVD by mail service can evolve into industry-changing platforms. Complacency is lethal. Blockbuster optimized for late fee revenue instead of customer experience. Reflection question. Where in your industry are you acting like Blockbuster, defending a revenue stream that frustrates customers? Section 3, Case Study 2, Elon Musk and SpaceX. SpaceX faced repeated rocket failures in its early years, burning through nearly all available funding. Rather than retreat, Elon Musk doubled down, personally financing one last launch that succeeded. SpaceX has since disrupted a government-dominated industry and dramatically reduced the cost of space travel. Leadership lessons. Courage under pressure can make the difference between survival and collapse. Long-term vision fuels persistence through short-term setbacks. Challenging impossible assumptions, like reusable rockets, creates massive competitive advantage. Reflection question. What assumptions in your business do you treat as immutable facts that might actually be challengeable? Section 4, The Disruptive Leadership Mindset. Disruptive leadership begins with how you think. Your first step is to shift your own mental models before expecting your team or organization to follow. Section 5, Practical Exercises. Exercise 1, Disruption Map. List the 3 to 5 major trends impacting your industry, technology, customer expectations, regulation, etc. Brainstorm how each trend could destroy your current business model. Brainstorm how you could leverage each trend to disrupt your competitors. Choose one idea that feels uncomfortable but exciting. Explore it further with your team. Exercise 2, Bias for Action. For the next week, every time you face a decision, ask, what is the smallest, fastest test we can run to get real data? Document the results and share them with your team to build a culture of experimentation. Exercise 3, Leadership Reflection Journal. Spend 10 minutes each evening reflecting on, where did I resist change today? Where did I embrace it? What belief or assumption might I need to challenge tomorrow? Section 6, Key Takeaways. Disruptive leadership is not reckless, it is calculated and strategic. The most dangerous mindset is believing what worked yesterday will work tomorrow. Leaders who embrace uncertainty create organizations that are anti-fragile, able to grow stronger under stress. Chapter 2, The Psychology of Disruption. Introduction. Why most people resist change. Disruption is not just a business phenomenon, it's a psychological one. Humans are wired for predictability and safety. Disruption triggers fear, uncertainty, and even identity crises. Understanding the psychology of change is critical if you want to lead people through it, not just announce it. Disruptive leaders don't just drive transformation, they also manage emotional resistance. This chapter explores why people resist change, how to build trust, and how to motivate others to embrace uncertainty. Section 1, The Neuroscience of Resistance. The brain under change. The amygdala, the brain's fear center, treats uncertainty as a potential threat. Change activates a fight, flight, or freeze response. Leaders must provide psychological safety to calm fear responses and unlock creativity. Key insight: people don't resist change itself, they resist loss. Loss of status, control, competence, or familiarity. Section 2. Case Study 1. Satya Nadella's Cultural Reset at Microsoft. When Satya Nadella became CEO in 2014, Microsoft was struggling with a rigid, competitive internal culture and stagnant innovation. Instead of doubling down on hierarchy, Nadella emphasized a growth mindset, encouraging curiosity, collaboration, and learning. Results: market value increased more than 800% in under a decade. Teams became more cross-functional and innovative. Employees reported higher engagement and trust. Leadership lessons: psychological safety fuels innovation. Cultural change starts at the top. Leaders must model vulnerability and curiosity. Focusing on learning rather than fear of mistakes transforms organizational behavior. Section 3. Case Study 2. Nokia's Fall from Dominance. At its peak, Nokia controlled over 40% of the global mobile phone market. Yet when smartphones began disrupting the industry, leadership hesitated. Employees later revealed that fear of failure and internal politics stifled innovation. Leadership lessons: fear-driven cultures hide problems from leadership. Failure to address psychological barriers leads to slow, painful decline. Leaders must actively create space for dissenting voices and bold ideas. Section 4. Motivating people through uncertainty. To guide teams through disruption, leaders must address both rational and emotional needs. Section 5. Practical exercises. Exercise 1. Change mapping. Identify a recent or upcoming disruption in your organization. List all groups affected: employees, customers, partners. For each group, write down what they stand to gain, what they stand to lose, the emotions they may feel. Develop a communication plan that addresses both gains and losses. Exercise 2. Psychological safety audit. Ask your team, anonymously if possible, do you feel safe sharing bad news or unpopular opinions? When mistakes happen, are they treated as learning opportunities or punished? Identify 2 to 3 specific changes you can make to improve trust, e.g., leaders sharing their own mistakes in meetings. Exercise 3. The 5 whys. When someone resists a change, ask why. Up to 5 times to get to the root cause. Often, the resistance is not about the change itself but fear of losing something deeper: autonomy, identity, mastery. Section 6. Key takeaways. Resistance is normal. It's a biological response, not defiance. Leaders who acknowledge fear and create safety unlock higher performance. Culture and psychology are as critical to disruption as strategy and technology. Chapter 3. Building a vision that inspires action. Introduction. Vision as a force multiplier. Disruption without direction creates chaos. A powerful vision acts like a compass. It aligns people, accelerates decision-making, and helps teams stay focused even when conditions change. Disruptive leaders are not just problem solvers. They are storytellers who paint a picture of the future so compelling that people want to move toward it. Section 1. What makes a vision truly disruptive? A disruptive vision isn't just a slogan. It is a call to action that challenges the status quo. Characteristics of a powerful vision. Bold. It stretches beyond what seems reasonable today. Clear. Anyone can understand and repeat it. Customer-centric. Focused on solving a real need, not just internal goals. Emotional. Inspires passion, not just compliance. Actionable. Provides a sense of where to start. Key insight. A vision is not about predicting the future, it's about creating it. Section 2. Case Study 1. Tesla's mission to accelerate sustainable energy. Tesla's vision was never just to make electric cars. It was to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. This vision drove investment in batteries and solar energy, not just cars. A strategy of open sourcing patents to accelerate industry adoption. A culture that attracts top talent motivated by purpose, not just profit. Leadership lesson. A bold vision allows a company to move beyond products and into movements, rallying employees, investors, and even competitors. Section 3. Case Study 2. Patagonia's Environmental Activism. Patagonia's vision, "We're in business to save our home planet," goes far beyond selling apparel. Their leaders have donated company profits to environmental causes, encouraged customers to repair, not replace their gear, taken legal action to protect public lands. Leadership lesson. A clear, values-driven vision can deepen customer loyalty and attract employees who share the mission, even in competitive markets. Section 4. The Vision Creation Framework. Disruptive leaders can follow a repeatable process to craft a vision. Define the core problem. What is broken in the current system? Who suffers from it most? Why hasn't it been solved yet? Imagine a better future. What does the world look like if this problem is solved? What becomes possible for customers, employees, and society? Make it personal. Why does this matter to you as a leader? Why should anyone follow you? Condense it into a memorable statement. Keep it under 15 words if possible. Make it easy to repeat. Section 5. Communicating your vision. A vision is useless if it stays locked in a PowerPoint deck. Disruptive leaders repeat the vision so often that people can recite it in their sleep. Communication principles. Consistency. Say it the same way across every channel. Frequency. Repeat it until you feel you are saying it too much, then say it again. Storytelling. Frame it as a narrative, what the world was, what it is, and what it could become. Symbolic acts. Backwards with visible actions, e.g., investing in innovation, changing policies, making bold bets. Section 6. Practical exercises. Exercise 1. Vision statement drafting. Write down the problem your organization solves in one sentence. Write down your desired future in one sentence. Combine them into a vision statement under 15 words. Share with your team and refine based on their feedback. Exercise 2. Storytelling, rehearsal. Practice telling the story of your vision in 3 formats. 30 seconds, elevator pitch version. 3 minutes, meeting version. 30 minutes, all hands presentation version. Get feedback from peers. Did it feel clear? Inspiring? Actionable? Exercise 3. Align your team. Ask each team member to explain the vision in their own words. Note where interpretations diverge. Clarify and reinforce until everyone is aligned. Section 7. Key takeaways. A disruptive vision is bold, clear, and actionable. The best visions focus on solving real problems and inspire emotional buy-in. Leaders must become chief storytellers, repeating and living the vision until it becomes cultural DNA. Chapter 4. Designing Disruptive Strategies. Introduction. From Vision to Execution. Having a bold vision is only the first step. Disruptive leaders must convert that vision into a strategy that challenges industry norms, mobilizes resources, and creates outsized impact. This chapter explores how to craft strategies that are not just competitive, but transformative. Section 1. The Anatomy of a Disruptive Strategy. A disruptive strategy isn't about playing the game better. It's about changing the game entirely. Core elements of disruptive strategy. Market insight. Seeing where demand is shifting before competitors do. Contrarian thinking. Challenging industry assumptions and asking, what if we did the opposite? Leveraging asymmetry. Using unique assets, speed, or creativity to outmaneuver bigger players. Scalability. Designing for growth from day one. Experimentation. Treating strategy as a living process, not a static plan. Section 2. Case Study 1. Airbnb's market entry. Airbnb didn't just create a cheaper hotel alternative. They redefined what accommodation could mean by unlocking unused space in ordinary homes. Key strategic moves. Started with small, scrappy experiments, air mattresses during a conference. Focused on trust and community as differentiators. Scaled globally by leveraging a platform model, not owning real estate. Leadership lesson. Disruptive strategies often begin at the edges of a market, solving problems that incumbents ignore. Section 3. Case Study 2 Apple's iPhone Gamble. When Apple launched the iPhone in 2007, most phone makers focused on adding features to keypads. Apple eliminated the keypad entirely, betting on a touchscreen interface that was initially mocked. Key strategic moves. Focused on experience rather than hardware specs. Created an ecosystem, App Store, that locked in customer loyalty. Positioned the iPhone as a lifestyle product, not just a device. Leadership lesson. Disruptive strategy requires courage to make bets that look risky in the short term but open massive long-term opportunity. Section 4. The Disruptive Strategy Framework. Disruptive leaders can use this step-by-step process. Define the future state. What will winning look like in 3 to 5 years? What customer pain points will you have solved? Identify unfair advantages. What unique assets, insights, or capabilities can you leverage? How can you use speed and focus to outmaneuver incumbents? Challenge industry norms. List the 3 to 5 rules everyone assumes must be true in your industry. Brainstorm what would happen if you broke each one. Design small bets. Choose 1 or 2 experiments to test your assumptions cheaply. Measure results quickly and double down on what works. Plan for scale. Ensure your model can handle growth without collapsing under complexity. Build feedback loops to continuously refine your strategy. Section 5. Common pitfalls. Overplanning. Spending months perfecting a strategy that becomes obsolete on launch. Imitating competitors. Playing catch-up instead of creating new value. Ignoring culture. A brilliant strategy will fail if your team isn't aligned or empowered to execute. Underestimating resistance. Expect competitors, regulators, and even employees to push back. Section 6. Practical exercises. Exercise 1. Rule-breaking workshop. Gather your leadership team. Write down 10 assumptions about your industry, pricing, distribution, customer behavior. For each, ask, what if this assumption was no longer true? Identify which ideas could form the basis of a disruptive strategy. Exercise 2. Strategy Sprint. Choose one big, bold idea. Design a 2-week experiment to validate it. Track results and present findings to the team. Focus on learning, not perfection. Exercise 3. Competitor Disruption Map. Map out your top 3 competitors' strengths and weaknesses. Identify where they are slowest to adapt. Brainstorm how you could exploit those blind spots. Section 7. Key takeaways. Disruptive strategies change the rules rather than play by them. Small, rapid experiments de-risk bold moves. Courage and clarity are essential. A half-hearted disruptive strategy rarely survives first contact with the market. Strategy is not a one-time plan, but a continuous cycle of testing, learning, and scaling. Chapter 5. Building High-Performance Agile Teams. Introduction. Your strategy is only as good as your team. Even the most brilliant vision and strategy will fail if your team can't execute quickly, adapt under pressure, and collaborate across silos. Disruptive leaders understand that people, not plans, create transformation. This chapter explores how to design teams that are empowered, resilient, and capable of thriving in environments of rapid change. Section 1. The Anatomy of a High-Performance Team. Research from Google's Project Aristotle found that the highest-performing teams share 5 traits. Psychological safety. Team members feel safe taking risks. Dependability. Members reliably complete quality work on time. Structure and clarity. Roles, plans, and goals are well defined. Meaning, the work is personally significant to members. Impact. Team members see their work contributing to the organization's mission. Disruptive leaders must intentionally design these elements into team culture. Section 2, Case Study 1, Spotify Squad Model. Spotify organizes teams into small, cross-functional squads that operate like mini startups. Each squad has a clear mission and end-to-end ownership of a feature. Operates with autonomy, deciding how to work and what to build. Shares learnings across squads to keep alignment at scale. Leadership lesson: small empowered teams move faster, experiment more, and feel more ownership over outcomes. Section 3, Case Study 2, Pixar's Brain Trust. Pixar built one of the most consistently successful creative teams in history by creating the Brain Trust, a group that gives candid, constructive feedback on every project. Leadership lesson: radical candor plus psychological safety produces breakthrough creative work. Teams must trust each other enough to challenge ideas without fear of retaliation. Section 4, Building Team Agility. Agile teams are not just fast, they are adaptive. Key practices include iterative work cycles, break projects into small testable increments. Continuous feedback, use retrospectives to learn and improve every cycle. Cross-functional collaboration, avoid silos, bring together diverse skills early. Shared metrics, measure success based on collective outcomes, not individual heroics. Key insight: agility is a muscle. Teams must train by practicing short cycles of planning, doing, reflecting, and adjusting. Section 5, Leading for Empowerment. Disruptive leaders shift from command and control to coach and empower. Delegate authority, not just tasks. Give teams decision-making power within clear boundaries. Remove friction, clear obstacles that slow teams down, bureaucracy, unclear priorities. Celebrate learning, reward experimentation even when outcomes aren't perfect. Section 6, Practical Exercises. Exercise 1, Team Health Check. Score your team 1 to 5 on trust, clarity, autonomy, speed, and learning. Discuss the results openly with your team. Choose one area to improve over the next month. Exercise 2, Role Clarity Workshop. Map out everyone's responsibilities and decision-making authority. Use RACI, responsible, accountable, consulted, informed, to clarify who does what. Share this visually to reduce confusion and overlap. Exercise 3, Experiment Sprint. Pick a current project. Break it into a 2-week sprint with clear goals and measures of success. Hold a retrospective at the end to discuss what worked and what to change next time. Section 7, Key Takeaways. High-performance teams thrive on psychological safety, clarity, and shared purpose. Agile teams learn fast, move fast, and adjust fast. Leaders must shift from controlling to enabling, creating an environment where teams are trusted to act. Investing in team culture is not a soft activity, it is a competitive advantage. Chapter 6, Creating a Culture of Experimentation and Learning. Introduction: Why experiments beat predictions. In rapidly changing environments, long-range predictions are almost always wrong. The organizations that thrive are those that treat their strategies and ideas as hypotheses, not certainties, and then run disciplined experiments to test them. Disruptive leaders build organizations where trying, failing, and learning are not just tolerated but celebrated. This chapter shows you how to create that culture. Section 1, Why experimentation is a leadership imperative. Traditional approach. Predict, plan, execute, and hope for the best. Punish failure, reward predictability. Disruptive approach. Hypothesize, test, measure, iterate. Treat failure as data. Reward learning velocity, not just outcomes. Key insight: the faster your team can run experiments, the faster you can outpace competitors. Section 2, Case Study 1, Amazon's Culture of Testing. Amazon is famous for its mantra: our success is a function of how many experiments we do per year, per month, per week, per day. Examples: the one-click purchase feature was tested before being rolled out globally, transforming e-commerce. Amazon Web Services began as an internal experiment to make infrastructure more scalable. Leadership lesson: create mechanisms that allow many small bets to run simultaneously. You never know which one will become the next billion-dollar business. Section 3. Case Study 2. Google's 20% time. Google encouraged employees to spend 20% of their time on passion projects. This practice produced products like Gmail and AdSense, which became core revenue drivers. Leadership lesson: giving employees room to explore ideas creates unexpected innovation, but it requires trust and tolerance for wasted time. Section 4. Building a learning organization. A true culture of experimentation goes beyond just running tests. It systematically captures and spreads learning. Key practices: build feedback loops. Every project should end with a retrospective that documents lessons learned. Share knowledge. Create internal platforms where teams can post insights from experiments. Reward curiosity. Promote employees who ask great questions, not just those who deliver results. Normalize failure stories. Have leaders share their own smart failures to destigmatize setbacks. Section 5. The experimentation framework. Disruptive leaders can use this simple 5-step framework to institutionalize experimentation. Frame a hypothesis. If we do X, we expect Y to happen. Define success metrics. What data will prove or disprove the hypothesis? Design a low-cost test. Build the smallest version of the idea to learn quickly. Run the experiment. Launch, measure, collect data. Analyze and decide. Scale, iterate, or kill the idea based on evidence. Section 6. Overcoming cultural barriers. Common barriers to experimentation. Fear of failure. Employees worry about being blamed for bad outcomes. Perfectionism. Teams wait until ideas are perfect before testing them. Short-term metrics. Leaders kill ideas too quickly if they don't pay off immediately. Leaders' role. Publicly celebrate smart failures. Fund a portfolio of experiments, knowing some will fail. Shift performance reviews to value learning and iteration. Section 7. Practical exercises. Exercise 1. Failure postmortem. Choose a project that didn't succeed. Host a no-blame session to identify what was learned. Document and share insights so others can avoid repeating the mistake. Exercise 2 to 48-hour experiment challenge. Ask your team to pick one risky idea they've been sitting on. Design an experiment they can launch in 48 hours. Review results as a group and decide next steps. Exercise 3. Innovation leaderboard. Track the number of experiments run by each team per quarter. Celebrate teams that learn fastest, regardless of success rate. Section 8. Key takeaways. Experimentation reduces risk by revealing what works before committing big resources. Cultures that fear failure move too slowly to survive disruption. Leaders must reward curiosity, celebrate learning, and scale successes fast. The ultimate competitive advantage is a team that learns faster than the competition. Chapter 7. Decision-making in high-uncertainty environments. Introduction. Leading when the map doesn't exist. In times of rapid change, the data is incomplete, the risks are high, and the clock is ticking. Waiting for perfect information means losing momentum, but acting too quickly can amplify mistakes. Disruptive leaders must master the art of making clear, timely decisions in the fog of uncertainty. This chapter explores frameworks, mental models, and real-world examples to help you make smarter, faster choices when the stakes are highest. Section 1. The nature of uncertainty. Uncertainty is different from risk. Risk can be measured, probabilities are known. Uncertainty cannot be fully quantified. Unknown unknowns dominate. In disruptive markets, leaders operate under Knightian uncertainty, where historical data is not a reliable predictor of the future. Key insight: you will never have 100% certainty. Great leaders decide with 70% of the data and use feedback loops to course correct. Section 2. Case Study Number 1. Johnson & Johnson's Tylenol Crisis. In 1982, Tylenol capsules were laced with cyanide, killing 7 people. Johnson & Johnson had no playbook for such a crisis, but quickly decided to recall 31 million bottles nationwide at a cost of $100 million. Outcome: public trust was restored. Tamper-proof packaging was introduced, setting a new industry standard. Leadership lesson: when values are clear, decisions under uncertainty become easier. J&J relied on its credo, which prioritized customer safety over profits. Section 3. Case study number 2: Netflix's bet on streaming. In the mid-2000s, streaming technology was unreliable, and broadband penetration was limited. Netflix still decided to invest heavily in streaming, even at the expense of its profitable DVD business. Outcome: Netflix became the global leader in streaming. Competitors were left scrambling years later. Leadership lesson: betting early on inevitable trends, even at short-term cost, creates long-term advantage. Section 4. Decision-making frameworks. 1. OODA loop: observe, orient, decide, act. Observe: gather available data quickly. Orient: analyze through multiple lenses: customer, competitor, market. Decide: choose a course of action, even if incomplete. Act: execute fast and loop back with new observations. 2. Two-way versus one-way doors: Bezos model. One-way door: irreversible decisions, e.g., acquisitions, major pivots, take more time. Two-way door: reversible decisions, e.g., pricing tests, small feature launches, decide fast and iterate. 3. Expected value thinking: consider the payoff times probability of success. Choose the path with the highest long-term expected value, even if it carries risk. Section 5. Avoiding decision traps. Paralysis by analysis: waiting too long for more data. Overconfidence bias: assuming you know more than you do. Groupthink: teams converging too quickly on consensus. Escalation of commitment: doubling down on a bad decision to save face. Leadership tip: appoint a red team to challenge big decisions and uncover blind spots before acting. Section 6. Practical exercises. Exercise 1. Decision journal. For every major decision, document what data you had, what assumptions you made, what outcome you expect. Review in 3 to 6 months to see how accurate you were and refine your decision-making. Exercise 2. Reversible decision sprint. Identify one decision you've been delaying. Break it into a reversible small bet and act within 48 hours. Review results and adjust. Exercise 3. Bias awareness workshop. List the most common cognitive biases: confirmation bias, sunk cost fallacy, etc. Have your team identify which ones influenced their last big decision. Discuss how to mitigate them in future decisions. Section 7. Key takeaways. You will never have perfect information. Decide with what you have, then iterate. Clear values simplify hard choices. Frameworks like OODA loops and two-way doors reduce decision paralysis. The goal is not perfect decisions but faster, smarter learning cycles. Chapter 8. Communicating in times of disruption. Introduction. The communication gap. When disruption hits, leaders often underestimate how much communication their teams need. People fear the unknown more than bad news, and in the absence of information, they will fill the void with rumors. Disruptive leaders don't just share information. They over-communicate with clarity, consistency, and empathy to keep everyone aligned and engaged. Section 1. The role of communication in leadership. Communication during disruption serves 3 purposes. Clarity: explain what is happening and why. Confidence: show that leadership has a plan and a path forward. Connection: help people feel seen, heard, and valued. Key insight: the speed of communication must match the speed of change, otherwise trust erodes. Section 2. Case Study 1. Microsoft's open communication under Satya Nadella. When Nadella became CEO, He shifted Microsoft's culture by introducing transparent communication. He shared personal stories about failure, acknowledged the company's weaknesses, and outlined a growth mindset vision. Leadership lesson: vulnerability builds credibility. Leaders who admit they don't have all the answers inspire trust rather than fear. Section 3. Case study number 2: Starbucks and the racial bias incident. After a racially charged incident in 2018, Starbucks closed 8,000 stores for a day of racial bias training. The company's CEO issued a public apology, met with affected parties, and made a visible commitment to change. Leadership lesson: swift, transparent communication can turn a potential PR disaster into an opportunity to demonstrate values in action. Section 4. The communication framework for disruption. Use this simple 4-step model for effective communication. Acknowledge reality. Name the disruption clearly and honestly. Avoid corporate jargon. Be human and direct. Explain the why. Provide context for decisions. Connect the change to the bigger mission and vision. Lay out the path forward. Share what will happen next, even if it's just the next step. Be clear about what is known and what is still being worked out. Create feedback loops. Provide ways for employees to ask questions and share concerns. Respond to feedback quickly to maintain trust. Section 5. Communicating across audiences. Different stakeholders need different levels of information. Section 6. Common communication pitfalls. Silence creates confusion and fuels rumor mills. Overpromising creates disappointment when expectations aren't met. One-way messaging fails to engage people in dialogue. Inconsistency: different messages from different leaders create mistrust. Section 7. Practical exercises. Exercise 1. Message clarity test. Write down the message you need to communicate. Share it with 3 people outside your team. Ask them to explain it back to you in their own words. If they can't, simplify until it's crystal clear. Exercise 2. Worst-case Q&A. Brainstorm the toughest, most uncomfortable questions stakeholders might ask. Prepare honest, concise answers before going public. Exercise 3. Communication cadence design. Create a schedule for regular updates, e.g., weekly town halls, daily stand-ups. Stick to it, even if there is no new news, to show commitment to transparency. Section 8. Key takeaways. Silence is the enemy of trust during disruption. Great communication balances honesty with optimism. Leaders must become chief storytellers, explaining not just what is happening, but why it matters. Consistency and feedback loops turn communication into a tool for alignment and engagement. Chapter 9. Resilience and Energy Management for Leaders. Introduction. You can't lead if you're running on empty. Disruption is exhausting. Leaders are under pressure to make decisions faster, adapt to constant change, and hold their teams together during turbulence. Without proper energy management, even the best leaders burn out. And when leaders burn out, entire organizations can stall. This chapter explores how disruptive leaders sustain themselves physically, mentally, and emotionally so they can lead with clarity and strength over the long term. Section 1. Understanding resilience. Resilience isn't about being unshakable. It's about recovering quickly from setbacks and continuing to move forward. The 4 dimensions of resilience. Physical: energy, sleep, nutrition, exercise. Mental: focus, decision-making capacity, ability to learn. Emotional: capacity to handle stress, stay optimistic, and regulate emotions. Social: support networks, trusted peers, mentors. Key insight: leadership is a high-performance activity. Treat it like training for a marathon, not a sprint. Section 2. Case Study 1. Arne Sorensen, Marriott CEO. When COVID-19 devastated the hospitality industry, Marriott CEO Arne Sorensen addressed employees in a video while visibly undergoing cancer treatment. His authenticity, vulnerability, and calm clarity inspired hope across the organization. Leadership lesson. Resilience is not just personal toughness, it's modeling steadiness for others, even in personal adversity. Section 3. Case Study 2: Jacinda Ardern and Crisis Leadership. New Zealand's former Prime Minister demonstrated resilience by balancing empathy with decisive action during crises like the Christchurch mosque attack and the pandemic. Leadership lesson. Resilient leaders are not stoic robots. They connect emotionally with those they lead while making hard decisions with composure. Section 4. The Energy Management Framework. Disruptive leaders must manage energy with the same discipline as they manage strategy. Physical practices. Prioritize sleep, 7 to 8 hours per night. Schedule exercise like a meeting. Fuel with balanced nutrition. Avoid energy spikes, crashes. Mental practices. Block time for deep work, no meetings, no distractions. Use mindfulness or journaling to improve clarity. Limit decision fatigue by automating or delegating low-value choices. Emotional practices. Reframe stress as a challenge, not a threat. Build recovery rituals, walks, music, hobbies. Practice gratitude to shift perspective. Social practices. Cultivate a trusted inner circle. Seek mentors or coaches to process challenges. Delegate. Don't carry the burden alone. Section 5. Building organizational resilience. Leaders must also create structures that keep teams strong. Pulse checks. Regularly monitor team morale and workload. Flexible work practices. Allow rest and recovery when disruption peaks. Psychological safety. Encourage speaking up about burnout or stress without stigma. Section 6. Practical exercises. Exercise 1: Energy Audit. Track your energy levels for 1 week across 4 dimensions: physical, mental, emotional, social. Identify patterns. When do you have the most focus? When do you crash? Adjust your calendar to align demanding work with peak energy times. Exercise 2: Resilience Ritual Design. Create a daily ritual that includes morning priming, e.g., exercise, meditation, journaling. Midday reset, short walk, stretch, deep breathing. Evening reflection, gratitude practice, screen-free wind down. Exercise 3: Delegation Challenge. List all tasks you handle weekly. Identify at least 3 that someone else could own. Delegate and use the time freed for strategic or restorative activities. Section 7. Key Takeaways. Resilience is not just personal toughness, it's a skill set that can be developed. Energy management is the foundation of high-performance leadership. Leaders who model sustainable practices give permission for their teams to do the same. Long-term disruption demands leaders who can stay present, clear-headed, and optimistic over time. Chapter 10. Leveraging Technology for Disruptive Advantage. Introduction. Technology as the new leadership lever. Technology is no longer just a support function. It's the engine of competitive advantage. Disruptive leaders understand that adopting new tools isn't enough. They must integrate technology into strategy, culture, and operations to stay ahead of competitors and customer expectations. Section 1. Technology as a catalyst for disruption. Technology enables disruption by lowering the cost of experimentation, cloud computing, no-code tools. Unlocking new business models, platform subscriptions, data monetization. Scaling personalization and reach, AI, automation. Accelerating decision-making, real-time analytics. Key insight. Leaders don't need to be technologists, but they must be technologically literate, able to ask the right questions and make bold bets. Section 2. Case Study 1: Domino's Transformation into a Tech Company. Domino's Pizza rebranded itself as a technology company that happens to sell pizza. They built a mobile app that now drives over 70% of orders. Invested in predictive ordering and delivery tracking. Experimented with autonomous delivery vehicles and AI-powered voice ordering. Leadership lesson. Technology can completely reframe a company's identity and unlock growth if leaders are willing to invest beyond the core product. Section 3. Case Study 2 UPS and Data-Driven Efficiency. UPS saved millions annually by using routing algorithms to minimize left turns. This small but strategic use of data improved delivery speed, cut fuel costs, and reduced emissions. Leadership lesson: technology doesn't always mean flashy innovation. Sometimes small, smart applications of data create massive operational gains. Section 4. The Tech Adoption Framework for Leaders. Use this 4-step process to integrate technology into disruptive strategy. Scan for emerging tech. Monitor trends in AI, automation, blockchain, IoT, etc. Ask, which of these could reshape our industry in 3 to 5 years? Identify high-impact use cases. Look for bottlenecks, inefficiencies, or customer pain points technology could solve. Prioritize areas with the highest ROI or competitive differentiation. Experiment and pilot. Launch small controlled pilots. Gather data before scaling across the organization. Build capabilities, not just tools. Train teams to work effectively with new technologies. Foster a culture that embraces change and innovation. Section 5. Balancing Human and Machine. Disruptive leaders must decide which tasks to automate and which require uniquely human strengths like creativity, empathy, and judgment. Leadership tip: use technology to free people from low-value work so they can focus on higher-value creativity and strategy. Section 6. Risks of technology misuse. Shiny object syndrome: chasing tech trends without a clear strategy. Security risks: neglecting cybersecurity as systems become more connected. Dehumanization: over-automation that removes the human touch from customer experience. Skill gaps: failing to invest in upskilling employees leads to resistance and obsolescence. Section 7. Practical exercises. Exercise 1. Tech Opportunity Audit. List the top 5 friction points in your customer journey or operations. Brainstorm which emerging technologies could solve them. Prioritize one for a pilot project. Exercise 2. Technology Literacy Workshop. Invite a tech expert to brief your leadership team on key trends. Translate each trend into a potential opportunity or threat to your business. Exercise 3. Automation Impact Map. Map which roles and tasks could be automated in the next 3 years. Develop a reskilling plan to move employees into higher-value roles. Section 8. Key Takeaways. Technology is no longer optional. It is central to strategy and differentiation. The goal isn't just adopting new tools, but transforming how your organization creates value. Smart leaders balance human creativity with machine efficiency. A culture of experimentation must include technology adoption as a continuous process. Chapter 11. Leading Through Crisis and Chaos. Introduction: The Crucible of Leadership. Crises are the ultimate leadership test. They strip away the comfortable, predictable routines and expose whether leaders can stay calm, make hard choices, and inspire trust under pressure. Disruptive leaders see crisis not just as a threat, but as an opportunity to reshape their organizations, accelerate transformation, and build unshakable credibility. Section 1. The Anatomy of a Crisis. Crises typically involve 3 elements. Urgency: immediate action is required. Uncertainty: information is incomplete and constantly changing. High stakes: reputations, revenue, and lives may be on the line. Key insight: chaos magnifies leadership, both good and bad. People will remember how you handled the moment for years to come. Section 2. Case Study 1. Johnson & Johnson's Tylenol Crisis Revisited. As mentioned in Chapter 7, J&J's decision to recall 31 bottles of Tylenol during the 1982 tampering crisis became the gold standard of crisis management. Why it worked? Speed, immediate recall, and public communication. Transparency, clear messaging to the public and stakeholders. Values-driven, prioritize customer safety over profits. Leadership lesson, doing the right thing fast builds long-term trust, even at short-term cost. Section 3. Case Study 2 Airbnb and the COVID-19 travel shutdown. In 2020, Airbnb lost 80% of its revenue almost overnight. CEO Brian Chesky made painful decisions quickly, laying off 25% of staff, but doing so with empathy, offering severance, healthcare, and job support. Leadership lesson, how you treat people in a crisis defines your culture. Compassion and clarity can turn a devastating situation into a trust-building moment. Section 4. The Crisis Leadership Playbook. A proven approach to leading through chaos. Pause and assess, even briefly. Gather what facts you can. Identify the most urgent threats. Form a crisis team. Bring in cross-functional leaders. Designate a clear decision-maker, or crisis commander. Communicate early and often. Provide regular updates, even if all you can say is, "We are working on it." Avoid speculation or hiding bad news. Prioritize ruthlessly. Focus on what matters most: safety, continuity, mission-critical operations. Execute, then adapt. Take decisive action. Review and adjust as new information emerges. Section 5. The Emotional Dimension of Crisis. Your calm is contagious. Teams take their emotional cues from you. Acknowledge fear. Pretending everything is fine destroys trust. Create meaning. Help your team understand why their work matters in the bigger picture. Section 6. Pitfalls to avoid. Silence creates panic. Blame shifting destroys credibility. Over-optimism leads to disillusionment when reality contradicts your message. Decision paralysis wastes critical time when action is needed most. Section 7. Practical exercises. Exercise 1. Crisis simulation. Run a tabletop exercise with your leadership team. Present a realistic crisis scenario: cyber attack, product recall, PR disaster. Time box decision-making and practice your crisis communication plan. Exercise 2. First 24 hours checklist. Build a checklist of what to do in the first day of a major crisis. Who to notify. What data to gather. First public statement template. Internal communication plan. Exercise 3. Emotional regulation practice. Teach leaders stress management techniques, deep breathing, reframing. Practice responding to tough questions calmly under pressure. Section 8. Key takeaways. Crises are unavoidable, but poor leadership in a crisis is optional. Speed, transparency, and values-driven decision-making win trust. Leaders who stay calm and compassionate can transform chaos into an opportunity for renewal. A prepared team will always outperform one improvising under stress. Chapter 12. Building high-trust cultures in disruptive times. Introduction. Trust as the ultimate force multiplier. In moments of disruption, trust becomes your most valuable currency. Without trust, even the most brilliant strategies fail because people hesitate, resist, or disengage. With trust, teams move faster, collaborate more openly, and stay committed, even when the path forward is unclear. This chapter explores how disruptive leaders actively build, measure, and protect trust as a core strategic asset. Section 1. The components of trust. Trust is not a vague concept. It can be broken down into 3 core dimensions. Competence. You can deliver what you promise. Character. You act with integrity and fairness. Connection. You genuinely care about me and my success. Key insight. Trust is earned in drops and lost in buckets. Consistency matters more than perfection. Section 2. Case Study 1. Patagonia's Values-Driven Trust. Patagonia consistently demonstrates that its values are real, from donating profits to environmental causes to encouraging employees to vote and volunteer. Leadership lesson. When values are lived, not just stated, trust deepens because employees and customers know where the company stands. Section 3. Case Study 2. Ford's Cultural Transformation under Alan Mulally. When Alan Mulally became CEO, Ford was on the brink of collapse. He rebuilt trust by introducing weekly business plan review meetings where executives had to share real data, including bad news, without fear. Leadership lesson: transparency and psychological safety are the foundation of rebuilding trust in broken cultures. Section 4. The Trust Building Framework. Use this model to strengthen trust in your organization. Clarity: be explicit about priorities, decisions, and expectations. Consistency: align words and actions over time. Transparency: share information broadly even when it's uncomfortable. Empathy: show that leadership cares about people's experiences and well-being. Accountability: hold yourself and others responsible for results and behavior. Section 5. Leading with vulnerability. High-trust leaders are not afraid to admit mistakes publicly. Say, "I don't know," when they don't have all the answers. Invite feedback and act on it. Leadership tip: vulnerability doesn't weaken authority, it humanizes leadership and encourages reciprocal honesty. Section 6. Protecting trust during disruption. Communicate early. Silence breeds fear and speculation. Explain decisions. Even unpopular moves can be trusted if the reasoning is clear. Treat people fairly. In layoffs or reorganizations, fairness matters as much as financial outcomes. Be visible. Show up in person or live during turbulent times. Don't hide behind memos. Section 7. Practical exercises. Exercise 1. Trust Pulse Survey. Ask employees, do you trust leadership to act in your best interest? Measure across teams and functions. Use insights to identify trust gaps and take action. Exercise 2. Consistency Audit. List your company's stated values. Identify 3 examples where recent decisions supported those values, and 3 where they didn't. Close the gaps to align actions with words. Exercise 3. Leadership Vulnerability Practice. In your next town hall, share a personal story of failure or learning. Invite employees to share their own lessons learned. Section 8. Key Takeaways. Trust is the foundation of speed, collaboration, and commitment. Leaders earn trust through clarity, consistency, transparency, empathy, and accountability. Vulnerability and fairness are powerful trust accelerators. In disruptive times, trust is not just a nice-to-have, it is a competitive advantage. Chapter 13. Driving Innovation Without Chaos. Introduction: Innovation with Guardrails. Innovation is the lifeblood of disruption, but too much change too fast can destabilize an organization. Disruptive leaders must strike a balance, encourage experimentation and bold ideas, without letting innovation turn into disorganized, uncoordinated chaos that confuses teams and customers. Section 1. Why innovation efforts fail. Common reasons innovation initiatives collapse. No clear direction. Teams don't know which problems they should solve. Innovation theater. Lots of brainstorming sessions, few real outcomes. Lack of resources. Teams are told to innovate on the side of their day jobs. Failure aversion. Risk-avoidant culture punishes failed experiments. Key insight: innovation needs structure, freedom within a framework. Section 2. Case Study 1 to 3M's 15% Rule. 3M famously allows employees to spend 15% of their time on passion projects, which led to products like Post-it notes. Crucially, 3M also provides a process for scaling successful ideas into production. Leadership lesson: innovation thrives when employees have both autonomy and a clear path to bring ideas to market. Section 3. Case Study 2. Amazon's Working Backwards Process. Amazon uses a process where teams write a hypothetical press release for a product before they build it. This forces clarity about the customer value and desired outcome before any resources are spent. Leadership lesson: structured innovation frameworks reduce waste and keep teams aligned on solving real customer problems. Section 4. The Innovation Leadership Framework. To drive innovation without chaos, leaders must set a clear innovation agenda. Define focus areas, customer pain points, growth priorities. Communicate how innovation supports the overall strategy. Create safe-to-fail spaces. Reward learning, not just winning. Make experimentation part of normal work, not a side project. Provide guardrails. Establish criteria for when to scale or stop an experiment. Allocate budgets and time explicitly for innovation. Build cross-functional teams. Include diverse perspectives early to avoid siloed efforts. Measure impact, not activity. Track experiments, launched, validated learnings, and ROI, not just number of ideas generated. Section 5. Balancing core business and innovation. Too much innovation can distract from what keeps the lights on. Disruptive leaders use a 70-20-10 model. 70% of resources go to core business improvements. 20% to adjacent opportunities, new products for current customers. 10% to breakthrough innovations, moonshots. Leadership tip: protect core operations from disruption experiments, but don't let them starve breakthrough ideas. Section 6. Practical exercises. Exercise 1. Innovation Portfolio Review. Map all current innovation projects into 3 buckets: core, adjacent, transformational. Check for overinvestment in one area and rebalance if needed. Exercise 2. Innovation Kill Criteria. Create a checklist for when to stop funding an experiment, e.g., failed metrics, no customer traction. Celebrate shutdowns as evidence of disciplined decision-making. Exercise 3. Customer First Hackathon. Run a 48-hour hackathon where teams solve a single, well-defined customer problem. Require each team to present a solution that is viable, feasible, and desirable. Section 7. Key takeaways. Innovation without focus creates noise, not results. Guardrails and clear priorities make innovation scalable. Leaders must balance bold experimentation with protection of core operations. Culture should reward learning speed, not just success stories. Chapter 14. Scaling Disruption Across the Organization. Introduction. From skunkworks to system. Disruption often begins with a small, bold experiment, a pilot project, an innovation lab, or a new product team. But for transformation to have a lasting impact, leaders must scale the new way of thinking across the entire organization. Scaling disruption is not just about rolling out a program. It's about shifting mindsets, aligning systems, and making innovation part of everyone's job. Section 1. The challenges of scaling disruption. Cultural resistance. Teams outside the pilot group may see disruption as a threat to their stability. Process bottlenecks. Legacy systems and slow approval processes kill momentum. Talent gaps. Not everyone has the skills or comfort level to work in a disruptive way. Misalignment. Different departments may pull in different directions without a shared vision. Key insight. Scaling disruption requires both top-down alignment and bottom-up adoption. Section 2. Case Study 1. Adobe's Kickbox Program. Adobe created Kickbox, a toolkit for any employee to develop an idea. It included a $1,000 prepaid credit card and a step-by-step innovation process. Result: thousands of ideas tested. Innovation became democratized across the company. Leadership lesson: when you provide both permission and resources, disruptive thinking spreads beyond isolated innovation teams. Section 3. Case Study 2. Haire's Microenterprise Model. Haier, a Chinese appliance giant, reorganized itself into hundreds of self-managed microenterprises, each responsible for its own P&L. Result: greater agility and entrepreneurial behavior at every level. Faster product innovation cycles. Leadership lesson: decentralizing decision-making can make disruption scalable if teams are empowered and accountable. Section 4. The Scaling Framework. Follow this 5-step process to scale disruption effectively. Codify the successes. Document what worked in the pilot phase, playbooks, processes, lessons learned. Create champions. Identify early adopters and give them visibility, resources, and authority to lead adoption. Align incentives. Update KPIs and performance metrics to reward innovative behaviors, not just traditional outputs. Upgrade systems and processes. Remove bureaucratic barriers that slow innovation. Invest in tools that support cross-functional collaboration. Communicate the story. Share success stories widely to inspire others. Show how disruption ties to the bigger mission and strategy. Section 5. Balancing control and freedom. Scaling does not mean imposing a rigid model everywhere. Leaders must strike a balance. Leadership tip: think of yourself as an architect. Design the environment where disruption can thrive, but let teams build within it. Section 6. Practical exercises. Exercise 1. Playbook creation. Document your most successful disruptive initiative, step by step. Turn it into a toolkit that other teams can use. Exercise 2. Champion network map. Identify 10 to 20 leaders across departments who can act as local champions. Host quarterly disruption councils to share learnings and align efforts. Exercise 3. Incentive audit. Review your organization's reward system. Ask, are we rewarding risk-taking and learning, or only safe execution? Adjust bonuses, recognition, and promotion criteria to align with a disruptive mindset. Section 7. Key takeaways. Scaling disruption is as much about culture as it is about process. Champions and storytellers accelerate adoption across the organization. Incentives must evolve to support risk-taking and innovation. Leaders should act as architects, designing systems that allow disruption to thrive without losing focus. Chapter 15. Developing the next generation of disruptive leaders. Introduction: Leadership as a legacy. Disruption is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing requirement for survival and growth. For disruption to scale and endure, leaders must actively develop other leaders who can carry the torch, challenge assumptions, and lead the next wave of transformation. This chapter explores how disruptive leaders build a pipeline of talent capable of thinking boldly, acting decisively, and sustaining the culture of innovation. Section 1. Why leadership development must be reinvented. Traditional leadership development often focuses on managing stability, optimizing existing processes, avoiding risk. Disruptive times demand leaders who thrive under uncertainty, challenge the status quo, inspire teams to move quickly and experiment. Key insight: you don't just need more leaders, you need leaders who are disruptors with discipline. Section 2. Case Study 1. Pixar's Brain Trust. Pixar's Brain Trust model allows directors and producers to get candid feedback from peers on every project. The process develops creative leaders who learn to separate ego from ideas and embrace constructive criticism. Leadership lesson: leadership development isn't just formal training, it's creating a culture of peer learning and feedback that sharpens decision-making. Section 3. Case Study 2. GE's Crotonville Leadership Institute. GE famously invested in Crotonville, its dedicated leadership campus, where rising leaders engaged in immersive problem-solving with real business challenges. Leadership lesson: stretch assignments and real-world challenges build leadership faster than theory alone. Section 4. The Disruptive Leadership Development Model. To create future-ready leaders, focus on these pillars. Expose them to ambiguity early. Give high-potential talent projects with unclear paths and outcomes. Teach them to make decisions with incomplete information. Teach innovation frameworks. Lean startup design thinking, systems thinking. Help them connect creativity to measurable business outcomes. Build emotional resilience. Train leaders in mindfulness, stress management, and emotional intelligence. Normalize failure as a learning process. Rotate across functions. Give leaders experience in multiple departments to break silos and build systems thinking. Mentorship and sponsorship. Pair emerging leaders with seasoned executives. Ensure they have advocates who open doors for them. Section 5. Identifying high-potential disruptive leaders. Look for people who challenge assumptions respectfully, volunteer for hard problems, are comfortable with fast change, can inspire others with their vision, take ownership, not just direction. Leadership tip: don't just promote the best executors, promote the best thinkers and learners. Section 6. Practical exercises. Exercise 1. Emerging Leader Lab. Select 10 to 15 high-potential employees. Give them a major challenge to solve over 90 days, e.g., new product concept, process overhaul. Provide coaching and mentorship along the way. Exercise 2. Failure Resume Workshop. Have leaders list their biggest mistakes and lessons learned. Share these in a safe, facilitated session to normalize risk-taking and growth. Exercise 3. Leadership Shadowing. Allow emerging leaders to shadow senior executives during high-stakes meetings. Debrief afterward to discuss thought process, decision-making, and trade-offs. Section 7. Key takeaways. The most powerful legacy a disruptive leader can leave is a generation of equally bold, capable leaders. Leadership development must prioritize ambiguity, creativity, and resilience. Real growth happens in the field, through stretch assignments, feedback, and exposure to risk. Organizations that continually develop disruptive leaders stay adaptive, innovative, and future-ready. Chapter 16. Measuring the Impact of Disruption. Introduction. What gets measured gets managed. Disruptive leadership isn't about creating chaos or chasing shiny new ideas. It's about driving meaningful outcomes. To know whether disruption is working, leaders must track both hard metrics, financial results, market share, and soft metrics, culture, engagement, learning speed. This chapter provides a framework for measuring disruption's impact, so leaders can double down on what works and adjust when needed. Section 1. Why measurement matters. Without measurement, innovation becomes innovation theater. Lots of activity, little impact. Leadership teams argue about whether change is working. Employees lose motivation when they can't see progress. Key insight: measurement creates clarity, accountability, and momentum. Section 2. Case Study 1. Intuit's Innovation Metrics. Intuit tracks not just financial results, but also number of customer experiments run, time from idea to first prototype, learning per dollar invested. Leadership lesson: measuring learning speed, not just revenue, encourages a culture of rapid iteration. Section 3. Case Study 2. Tesla's focus on leading indicators. Tesla measures software update adoption rates, factory throughput, and real-time performance data from vehicles. These leading indicators let them make rapid adjustments before problems become major setbacks. Leadership lesson: leading indicators give early warning signals, letting leaders stay ahead of disruption rather than reacting to it. Section 4. The Disruption Measurement Framework. Use this 4-lens model to measure the true impact of disruption. Financial metrics: revenue growth from new products, market share gains, cost savings from new processes. Customer metrics: Net Promoter Score, NPS, customer acquisition and retention rates, time to value, how quickly customers see results. Organizational metrics: employee engagement scores, psychological safety levels, can employees speak up, speed of decision-making. Innovation metrics: number of experiments run per quarter, percentage of revenue from new offerings, less than 3 years old. Learning velocity: time from idea right pointing arrow test right pointing arrow insight. Section 5. Balancing short-term and long-term results. Disruption often costs more before it pays off. Leaders must set realistic time horizons for ROI. Avoid killing initiatives too early because they don't show instant profit. Celebrate leading indicators to maintain team momentum. Leadership tip: share early wins widely. Even small signals of progress boost confidence in the transformation. Section 6. Building a measurement system. Dashboards. Build real-time dashboards with both financial and cultural indicators. Cadence. Review results at least quarterly and adjust strategy. Storytelling. Pair numbers with narratives, explain why they matter and what's next. Section 7. Practical exercises. Exercise 1. Metric Mapping Workshop. With your team, list the top 5 goals of your disruptive initiative. For each goal, identify 1 to 2 leading indicators and 1 to 2 lagging indicators. Build a dashboard to track them consistently. Exercise 2. Celebration of learnings. At the end of each quarter, host a learning review. Share failed experiments and what insights they generated. Reward teams not just for success, but for validated learning. Exercise 3. Baseline assessment. Before a major transformation, measure current state metrics, e.g., employee engagement, customer satisfaction. Compare quarterly to see the true impact over time. Section 8. Key takeaways. Disruption must be measured to be managed, otherwise it risks being dismissed as chaos. Track both hard and soft metrics to capture the full picture. Leading indicators keep momentum alive and allow for faster course corrections. Storytelling around metrics turns data into a powerful change-driving tool. Chapter 17. Overcoming Organizational Immune Systems. Introduction. Why good ideas get killed. Every organization has an immune system, a set of processes, norms, and incentives designed to maintain stability. This immune system is valuable for protecting against reckless decisions. But when disruption is necessary, that same system can attack innovative ideas as if they were a virus. As a disruptive leader, your job is to help the organization distinguish between harmful threats and healthy change, and to ensure good ideas survive long enough to prove their value. Section 1. Recognizing the signs of resistance. Organizational resistance can be overt or subtle. Look for passive resistance, missed deadlines, forgotten tasks, endless requests for more data. Process slowdowns, committees, approvals, and bureaucracy multiplying overnight. Cultural pushback, that's not how we do things here. Political sabotage, leaders protecting their turf and power base. Key insight. Resistance is rarely about the idea, it's about fear, loss of control, and uncertainty. Section 2. Case Study 1. Kodak's Missed Digital Moment. Kodak invented the digital camera, but failed to commercialize it. Internal resistance, fear of cannibalizing film revenue, and entrenched business models kept Kodak from embracing the future. Leadership lesson. When the immune system wins, the company can lose its future. Leaders must sometimes disrupt their own cash cows to stay relevant. Section 3. Case Study 2. Microsoft's Cultural Reset. When Satya Nadella became CEO, Microsoft was seen as slow and bureaucratic. He focused on creating a growth mindset culture, encouraging experimentation, and breaking down silos. Result: Microsoft reinvented itself, became cloud first, and regained its position as one of the most valuable companies in the world. Leadership lesson. Changing culture at the top can disarm the immune system and make the organization open to new ways of working. Section 4. Strategies for overcoming resistance. Acknowledge fears openly. Meet with stakeholders early and often. Listen to concerns and address them transparently. Build coalitions. Recruit influential allies who can advocate for the change. Involve skeptics in co-creating solutions. They often become your strongest supporters. Deliver early wins. Show tangible results quickly to prove that the disruption works. Reduce fear by demonstrating value before asking for big commitments. Redesign incentives. Align performance reviews, bonuses, and recognition with desired behaviors. Reward collaboration, experimentation, and adaptability. Communicate relentlessly. Share the vision, the plan, and the progress regularly. Use storytelling to make the change relatable and human. Section 5. Protecting innovation teams. Sometimes, you need to shield innovators from the full force of the immune system until they can prove their value. Create safe zones or pilot programs where teams can experiment without bureaucracy. Once success is demonstrated, integrate the innovation back into the core business. Leadership tip: think like a gardener. Create protected plots for seedlings to grow before transplanting them into the wild. Section 6. Practical exercises. Exercise 1. Resistance mapping. List all stakeholders affected by your initiative. Map them on a grid: supporters, neutral, skeptics, opponents. Build a plan to move at least one key skeptic into neutral or supportive territory. Exercise 2. Early win sprint. Identify one project or feature that can deliver results in 30 to 60 days. Launch it fast and celebrate its success widely. Exercise 3. Incentive review. Analyze whether current KPIs and bonuses reward maintaining the status quo. Adjust to encourage participation in transformation efforts. Section 7. Key takeaways. Organizational resistance is a natural response to change, and it must be managed, not ignored. Fear, not logic, is often the root cause of resistance. Coalitions, early wins, and incentive realignment are powerful tools for overcoming the immune system. Protecting innovators early, then reintegrating them later, helps ideas survive and scale. Chapter 18. Building Resilience in a Disruptive World. Introduction. The new baseline is change. In today's world, change is no longer something that happens every few years. It's constant. Market shocks, technological breakthroughs, and global crises can rewrite the rules overnight. Disruptive leaders must not only embrace change, but also help their teams withstand the pressure, recover quickly, and even grow stronger through adversity. Resilience isn't about being unshakable. It's about bending without breaking and bouncing forward, not just back. Section 1. Why resilience is a leadership imperative. Without resilience, disruption leads to burnout, disengagement, and high turnover. Emotional strain. Teams can feel exhausted by constant pivots. Decision fatigue. Leaders may hesitate or make poor calls under stress. Cultural erosion. Morale suffers when uncertainty feels endless. Key insight. Resilience is a capability that can be developed, not a fixed trait. Section 2. Case Study 1. Netflix's reinvention during streaming wars. When competitors launched rival streaming platforms, Netflix faced massive subscriber churn. Instead of panicking, they doubled down on original content, invested in personalization, and expanded globally. Result: Netflix emerged stronger with a more loyal subscriber base and industry-leading brand equity. Leadership lesson: resilience is not just survival, it's turning pressure into fuel for innovation. Section 3. Case Study 2. Airbnb during the pandemic. In 2020, Airbnb lost 80% of bookings in a matter of weeks. CEO Brian Chesky led a swift pivot. Refocused on core business, hosts, and guests. Created new offerings, like online experiences. Rebuilt trust through transparency with employees and investors. Leadership lesson: resilient leaders are decisive, transparent, and willing to simplify when under pressure. Section 4. The Resilience Framework for Leaders. Disruptive leaders build resilience at 3 levels. Personal resilience. Manage energy, not just time. Practice mindfulness or reflection to stay calm under stress. Build a strong support network. Team resilience. Foster psychological safety, so people speak up about problems early. Celebrate effort, not just outcomes. Normalize failure as part of the learning process. Organizational resilience. Build slack into systems, time, resources for faster recovery. Create scenario plans and stress test strategies. Invest in cross-training to reduce dependence on single points of failure. Section 5. Leading through crisis. During times of disruption, communicate more, not less. Teams need clarity and reassurance. Model calm and focus. Your tone sets the emotional temperature for the organization. Simplify priorities, reduce complexity, and help teams focus on what matters most. Leadership tip. Your job is not just to keep the ship afloat, it's to make the crew stronger for the storms ahead. Section 6. Practical exercises. Exercise 1. Energy audit. List your top 5 energy-draining activities and your top 5 energy-restoring ones. Adjust your weekly schedule to create better balance. Exercise 2. Team retrospective. Run a session where your team reflects on the last major disruption. Ask what went well. What was hard? What can we do differently next time? Exercise 3. Organizational stress test. Choose a hypothetical disruption scenario, e.g., supply chain failure, market downturn. Have each department create a 30-day survival plan. Review gaps and strengthen weak points proactively. Section 7. Key takeaways. Resilience is the capacity to grow stronger through adversity, not just recover. Leaders must invest in their own well-being to sustain others. Teams thrive when they feel safe, supported, and clear about priorities. Organizations that plan for disruption bounce forward faster when crises strike. Chapter 19. Embedding a culture of continuous disruption. Introduction. From projects to permanence. Disruption cannot just be a one-off project, a temporary initiative, or something driven by a single charismatic leader. For long-term success, organizations must make continuous reinvention a core part of how they operate, not an exception but an expectation. When disruption becomes cultural, every employee feels empowered to question the status quo, propose bold ideas, and help the company evolve, even when leadership changes or market conditions stabilize. Section 1. What a culture of continuous disruption looks like. Companies with embedded disruption share common traits. Curiosity everywhere. Employees ask why and what if regularly. Bias for action. Teams test ideas quickly instead of waiting for perfect plans. Comfort with change. Shifts in direction are seen as opportunities, not threats. Learning as a core value. Success is measured by insights gained, not just outcomes achieved. Key insight. Culture is not what leaders say, it's what people consistently do when no one is watching. Section 2. Case Study 1. Amazon's Day One Mentality. Jeff Bezos famously declared that Amazon must always operate as if it's day one, hungry, customer-obsessed, and willing to experiment. When companies slip into day 2, they become complacent and bureaucratic. Leadership lesson. Constantly reinforce the mindset that every day is a chance to reinvent, no matter how successful you are. Section 3. Case Study 2. Spotify's Agile Tribe Model. Spotify's tribes, squads, and guilds model allows small teams to innovate autonomously while staying aligned with the company's overall mission. This structure keeps the company nimble, even as it scales globally. Leadership lesson. Organizational design can hardwire agility and innovation into the company's operating system. Section 4. Embedding disruption into systems. To make disruption cultural, leaders must bake it into strategy. Regularly revisit and refresh the strategic plan. Treat innovation as a core growth driver, not a side project. Align incentives and recognition. Reward employees for taking calculated risks and learning fast. Celebrate experiments, even the ones that fail, if they generate insight. Evolve talent practices. Hire for curiosity, creativity, and adaptability. Promote those who champion change, not just those who maintain order. Keep communication open. Share learnings from across the organization. Make customer feedback visible to everyone. Institutionalize reflection. Build in regular retrospectives and learning reviews. Treat change as an ongoing cycle, Experiment, right pointing arrow, learn, right pointing arrow, scale, right pointing arrow, repeat. Section 5. The role of leadership. Leaders must model the behavior they want to see. Be the first to challenge the status quo. Ask hard questions publicly. Show vulnerability. Admit what you don't know, and invite others to co-create solutions. Stay curious. Demonstrate lifelong learning. Read, explore, attend events. Keep the energy up. Culture follows emotional tone. Stay optimistic and forward-looking. Section 6. Practical exercises. Exercise 1. Culture audit. Survey employees. Do they feel safe to suggest new ideas? Ask how quickly new ideas move from concept to test. Identify bottlenecks and remove them. Exercise 2. Experiment of the month. Select one experiment each month to highlight across the company. Showcase what was tried, what was learned, and what's next. Exercise 3. Ritualize reflection. Add a 15-minute learning moment to every all-hands meeting. Have different teams share what they learned, success or failure. Section 7. Key takeaways. A culture of disruption means making innovation and adaptation everyone's job. Systems, incentives, and structures must align to support continuous reinvention. Leadership must model curiosity, risk-taking, and optimism. When culture supports disruption, the organization becomes self-renewing, ready for whatever comes next. Chapter 20. Your Disruptive Leadership Legacy. Introduction. The end of the beginning. Disruptive leadership is not just about creating bold change during your tenure. It's about ensuring that your organization continues to evolve long after you've left. Your legacy isn't just measured by the products you launch or the profits you generate. It's measured by whether you've built a system, a culture, and a mindset that thrive in the face of future disruption. Section 1. Shifting from hero to architect. Many leaders fall into the trap of being the hero, the one who personally drives all transformation. But heroes leave a vacuum when they go. Architects, by contrast, build enduring systems and frameworks that allow innovation to continue. Key insight. Your ultimate goal is to make yourself unnecessary, to leave behind an organization that can disrupt itself without you. Section 2. Case Study 1. Steve Jobs and Apple's continuity. Steve Jobs' second tenure at Apple turned the company into a relentless innovation machine. When he passed away, many feared Apple would stagnate, but because Jobs built a culture of design excellence and product obsession, the company continued to thrive and release market-leading products. Leadership lesson. A strong cultural foundation keeps disruption alive beyond the leader's lifetime. Section 3. Case Study 2. Paul Polman's Sustainable Legacy at Unilever. Paul Polman transformed Unilever by embedding sustainability at the core of its strategy. His successors have continued to pursue these goals, proving that the shift was systemic, not just personal. Leadership lesson. When disruption is woven into purpose and strategy, it persists across leadership transitions. Section 4. Building your disruptive leadership legacy. Document your playbook. Capture processes, principles, and lessons learned. Create a repeatable blueprint for future leaders. Develop successors. Identify and mentor the next generation of disruptive leaders. Give them opportunities to lead high-stakes transformation efforts before you leave. Institutionalize learning. Build rituals, retrospectives, innovation days, idea challenges that outlive your tenure. Align purpose and strategy. Ensure the organization's mission reflects its commitment to innovation and progress. Celebrate the journey. Share the story of the transformation so that people understand where they've been, why it mattered, and where they're headed. Section 5. Pitfalls to avoid. Clinging to control. Don't stifle the next generation by micromanaging the disruption process. Failing to capture knowledge. If your lessons walk out the door with you, the organization has to relearn them from scratch. Leaving before culture takes hold. Make sure the new behaviors and systems are solid before stepping away. Section 6. Practical exercises. Exercise 1. Leadership Legacy Letter. Write a letter to your future successor outlining what you hope they will continue and what you hope they will improve. Exercise 2. Succession Sprint. Identify 2 to 3 potential successors. Assign them ownership of a transformation initiative for 90 days. Coach them, then step back and let them lead. Exercise 3. Playbook Workshop. Convene your team to co-create a disruption playbook that documents frameworks, rituals, and best practices. Share it widely across the organization. Section 7. Key Takeaways. The measure of a disruptive leader is whether the organization continues to evolve after they are gone. Build systems, processes, and cultural norms that outlast any single individual. Mentor and empower the next generation of disruptors. Your greatest achievement is not a single product or initiative. It's a company that never stops reinventing itself. Closing words. Disruption is no longer optional. It is the cost of survival and the engine of growth. As a disruptive leader, you have the power to ignite transformation, inspire boldness, and leave behind an organization that thrives in uncertainty. The work is not easy, but it is deeply meaningful. By choosing to lead disruptively, you are choosing to shape the future, not just react to it. That is your legacy.